in the bad old days when Ray couldn't get parts because there's usually a lull in an actor's career. He and Anthony Quinn used to play Indians in second-rate movies. They got all sorts of weird bit parts. There's a wonderful, tell them the one about the, is it Union Pacific where
It was Union
your
Pacific.
granddad breaks into the boxcar as an American Indian?
He does, and he sees a statue of an Indian, and freaks out. So Union Pacific was that was an A-list film done by Cecil B. DeMille, huge production, recreating the railroad, and so he plays an Indian. Anthony Quinn plays a heavy bad guy, So, and you're talking about 1939, and I don't know if you're familiar with that period in movie making, but after 1934. Hollywood came out with a code called the Hays Code to self-police themselves, so the federal government wouldn't come in and start harassing them. So within the Hays Code was a clause called the Miscegenation Code, and basically that said that a non-white cannot have a romantic on-screen romance with a white. Right. So you're the first non-white leading man prior to that. So what does that do to your career? So it was a good thing that he had a passion for the camera, because that's what gave him longevity in the business, and worked on a lot of A-list films with Joe Lachelle, like Laura, which launched the film noir genre, and then won the Oscar for best cinematography. So worked with Alfred Hitchcock behind the camera, just all these great
right on
huge directors.
Shadow of a Doubt.
Shadow of a Doubt, and so and the list goes on. And so. That just shows you his passion for actually making movies, not his hunger for, fame, like a lot of these people you see today.
There were some wonderful minority actors out there. They called them exotics.
Sure.
But
Monte Bleu was one of them. He was in a lot
yeah,
of
he'd
DeMille
been
pictures.
a leading man and as famous as Ray. And then, time goes on and they can't work like they want to because of the Hays Code and because they're getting older. And so they take Monty Blue took small roles and small roles. Ray was really lucky, and he lasted because he was very, very good as a cameraman. He loved the work. That's where he started. When the roles dried up, he would back up and start working with famous cameramen and making beautiful films as a cinematographer. So the fact that he had two real solid skills kept him going.
And so, Jan, you picked up this batik style
Mhm.
and you liked it.
Mhm.
So how long have you been doing the batik style?
I would say about 7 or 8 years. I wasn't always working in this very large format. What happened was not long after I had the batik workshop, I was doing little things like silk scarves and very small paintings and having a lot of fun with it because one thing I liked about doing my own art was you can set your own problems, you can set your own goals, and nobody else is telling you what to do.
Right,
It's all about you and what
right,
you
right,
want to do and
right.
follow your nose and see what the medium does. This is a painting inspired by one of the parts of a composition, Modest Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition. This piece of music and art is about the Russian witch called Baba Yaga. My third grade teacher read the stories to us from a publication for kids called Jack and Jill. And I just loved hearing about this Russian witch who lived in a house on chicken legs. And when she wanted to go into her house, the house would bow down and let her in. So this was my idea of what Baba Yaga might look like. Here's her house. Other depictions of that house on chicken legs that I've seen have had it look a little more sinister, a little more evil. I wanted mine to be just a happy house with a big beak and funny looking claws. And it may look a little as though he is about to land on Baba Yaga, but I had her looking up with a friendly expression on her face, I hope, holding her hand up as though she's bidding him to squat down so she can go in.